As a writer, it's critically important to have compelling characters. Before we dive into specific tips, exercises, and examples, it's important to understand what makes a character compelling. There are 3 traits that compelling characters share. Compelling characters are fully developed, relatable, and engaging for the reader or viewer. But how do we create these types of characters? Here are my top 3 tips for creating fully developed, relatable, and engaging characters in your writing. First tip, give your characters flaws and weaknesses. No one is perfect, and neither should your characters be. Perfect characters are boring. Giving them flaws and weaknesses makes them more realistic and relatable to the audience. Remember, even Superman has kryptonite. Second tip, develop your character's backstory. Understanding where your character comes from, what they've experienced, and what their motivations are will help you create a more well-rounded and believable character. Sticking with Superman, he is an alien. He comes from this mysterious planet, and he feels alone and isolated. This is more relatable to more people than someone who can leap over tall buildings in a single bound. The third tip is to create conflict and tension for your character. Conflict and tension drive the plot and help keep the audience engaged. Consider the obstacles and challenges your character will face and how they will overcome them. Remember, no conflict makes for a boring story. Now, let's look at 4 specific exercises you can do to improve your character writing skills. The first tool you should use is to write a character bio. Take some time to really dive into your character's backstory and motivations. What are their goals and desires? What are their fears and vulnerabilities? Let me provide an example of one of my upcoming characters called Sarah. Sarah is 25 and her appearance is as follows. Sarah has long, curly red hair that she usually keeps pulled back in a ponytail. She has freckles scattered across her nose and cheeks, and her bright green eyes are always sparkling with curiosity and intelligence. She is of average height and build, and she tends to dress in comfortable, practical clothing. Next, let's explore her personality. Sarah is a driven and ambitious young woman who is always striving to better herself and those around her. She is kind and empathetic, but she can also be stubborn and fiercely independent at times. She values honesty and integrity, and she has a strong sense of justice. She is fiercely loyal to those she cares about, and she will go to great lengths to protect the people and causes she believes in. Next, let's explore Sarah's background. Sarah grew up in a small town in the countryside, where she spent her days exploring the forests and fields around her home. She was always an avid reader and learner, and she excelled in school. After finishing high school, she decided to pursue a degree in environmental science, and she is currently in her final year of university. In her free time, Sarah enjoys hiking, gardening, and volunteering at the local animal shelter. Finally, let's examine Sarah's goals. Sarah's ultimate goal is to use her education and skills to make a positive impact on the environment and the world around her. She hopes to one day work for a conservation organization or start her own environmental business. I hope this quickly illustrated that going into a writing assignment, this character bio provides a detailed and well-rounded picture of Sarah, including her appearance, personality, background, and goals. Using this information, a writer could use Sarah as a fully developed and compelling character in their story. The second exercise to improve your character writing skills is to create a character arc. A character arc is the journey your character goes on throughout the story. What do they want, and how do they change as a result of the events in the story? Let's continue with Sarah and develop her story arc. At the start of the story, Sarah is a driven and ambitious university student who is focused on achieving her academic and career goals. She has a strong sense of justice and a desire to make a positive impact on the world, but she is also fiercely independent and sometimes stubborn. As the story progresses, Sarah is faced with a series of challenges and obstacles that test her beliefs and values. She may struggle to balance her personal and professional commitments, or she may encounter resistance or hostility from others who disagree with her goals. Through these challenges, Sarah learns to be more flexible and open-minded, and she begins to see the value in collaborating with and seeking support from others. As Sarah overcomes these challenges and grows as a person, she becomes more confident and self-assured. She begins to see the potential for real, meaningful change, and she becomes more determined to pursue her dreams. By the end of the story, Sarah has transformed from a driven but somewhat narrow-minded student into a compassionate and visionary leader who is determined to make a positive impact on the world. This story arc demonstrates three things. 1. Sarah experiences growth and change throughout the story. 2. Sarah faces challenges and obstacles that test her beliefs and values. And 3. Sarah's character arc is closely tied to her goals and motivations. Overall, Sarah's character arc illustrates the growth and development of a complex and well-rounded character over the course of a story. This provides a roadmap for you as the writer to follow as you craft Sarah's journey and evolution throughout your narrative. The third exercise to improve your character writing skills is to practice writing dialogue. How does your character speak? Do they have any specific quirks or mannerisms in their speech? Practice writing dialogue for your character to help bring them to life on the page. I have an entire video that provides 5 tips on how to write more realistic dialogue. I'll put a link on the screen to that. The fourth and final exercise to improve your character writing skills is to use specific details to bring your character to life. Instead of simply describing your character as happy, try to use specific details to convey their emotions. As an example, write a broad smile spread across Sarah's face as she threw her arms up in excitement. That's it. By following these 3 tips and practicing these 4 exercises, you'll be well on your way to creating compelling and engaging characters for your stories. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, what are you waiting for? Smash those like and subscribe buttons now and join the community of writers on our channel. Not only does it help the channel out, but it gives you the dosage of helpful tips, a stream of tricks, and a torrent of techniques you need to take your writing to the next level. Let us know in the comments which tip helped you with your character development the most, or if you have a tip of your own. I'd love to hear it, and I'm sure the community would too. Until next time, remember to keep writing.